Hello everyone, welcome back to the Profit Madness channel. My name is Alex. Before we start, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys the levels for this particular week. I'm not gonna give you guys too much of my bias because if you guys watched the previous video, which you should have, so 3 days ago, I was quite a bit skeptical on how things could potentially play out this particular week. Okay, if you guys have subscribed and you watched the previous videos as well before this one right here, you guys know that I've been extremely bullish. Okay, I've been bullish for pretty much throughout this entire time since I came back on YouTube, which is with this video right here. You guys can go and check. I was bullish on every single video. Okay, and to be honest, I'm still am. But the reason why I don't really want to give you guys too much of an opinion here today is because I feel a little bit skeptical with this particular week. Okay, I honestly despite the fact that I did give you guys these projections of us that we were going to start moving up and everything, um, I don't really like what I'm seeing here in terms of the narrative. Okay, I don't like the fact that Trump is coming out and saying that this war is about to be over. It's all good now. Everything is back to normal because reality it's not. Okay, or at least I don't think that it's the case at this moment. And I could be wrong here. Who knows? I just wanted to see, ideally speaking, I want to see price moving significantly higher before this week. Okay, to be honest, I wanted us to move back up before this week, and so far we aren't really getting it. Okay, and while we could definitely do it right now, that's why I'm saying, look, I've been very bullish. Okay, and I'm still bullish. I just don't feel too comfortable maintaining that bullishness this particular week because tomorrow, guys, is the anniversary. Okay, of C19. Okay, um and it's 6 years ago that all of that unfolded. I think that numbers do bring some sort of energy in the market. This could sound like crazy stuff to you guys, but if you guys have been watching my content and you guys are in the premium, you guys should know that I pay attention to this stuff.
If you guys want to see my portfolio, my coins, how much I've invested in each coin and my entry prices, and you want to get all of my trades and exit signals, then check out the link down below. You can subscribe to our premium group. This is going to be the best deal that you can get right now. The prices will go up very soon. We want to lock in as many people as possible before the old season starts, because once the old season starts, guys, it will be too late and it will be time to sell, not to buy. So make sure to join Profit Magnets as soon as possible. Get in, secure your spot, and make this your life changing cycle.
So I'm gonna show you guys here the price action that we had. Okay, after C19 was announced a pandemic. We were pretty much ranging in here. And then on the 12th, okay, which is 2 days from now, we had a significant correction back down. Okay. This was like what? Yeah. 39% to the downside in one singular day. 51% in total across two daily candles. Um, Look, I'm not necessarily saying that we have to do the same exact thing, neither the same percentages. I'm not saying that. But what I'm trying to show you guys here is a different perspective. And look, if I missed out because I ended up closing my longs, my swing longs, I'm still extremely bullish. I'm still, holding all my spot. I still believe in old season this year and all of that kind of stuff. Okay, I'm just speaking about leverage risks that I potentially see this particular week. Okay, um, which is the reason why I preferred personally to get out of the way. I could definitely be wrong here, okay? Could definitely be the case. But what I'm seeing here, guys, is a range, potentially. Um, technically speaking, yes, we had W formation here being formed, a breakout, retest, preparation for the upside. If you guys go and watch the previous videos, I give you guys this exact pattern, and so far it's actually playing out. So it's not looking terrible, okay, and it could definitely lead us for more upside. But even if we were to go to the upside right now, that doesn't necessarily mean that we cannot go lower one more time, okay? And I said it even in the previous videos that as we get into these regions, we are going to be stepping quite a bit of resistance. Hence why I personally prefer us to pump before we got into this week, because before, when I was making all these projections, I would have expected that by this week we should have went back into trading at around $80,000. To be honest, we didn't do that just yet. We could definitely do it in the next few days, okay? As long as we maintain this levels as a support. This is a bearish trending channel at this moment, because the previous daily candles we closed within and below. Now if we break above and then we retest as a support, then yeah, that does lead to a continuation to the upside, and this uh, bearish trending channel becomes bullish, okay? So that could definitely still be the case, but it's also possible, okay, that if this is a range, we could drive back up to around 72.2 or 72.2, push back up, and from there is the chance that if we don't break above, we could still fail and push back down, okay? Because it is so far the pattern that we are seeing in this range, assuming that the range is valid. You have formed the range, you then add a wipe of the high right here, and the way that I teach people on what to expect on a range, like it's doing right now, what I tell people to expect is watch for the break where it initially happens, because it's likely going to do it to the opposite side, which in this case is going to be to the downside, okay? But this is only valid if upon a retest of this area, which is not needed, okay, we fail to break above and instead we start to push back down. The way that this range gets invalidated is if we start to do something like this, okay? And at that moment I will say, okay, there's definitely something else going on. So right now the level that you should be watching on BTC specifically, guys, is going to be 72.2. Hold on, let me fix it for you guys. Yes, 72.1 actually. Perfect. So this is going to be your level to watch out for. You could get into this area, you may not. If you break above, we are likely going to revisit at 73.7 to 74.4, which is where I add my level of resistance. This is exactly where we topped before. So if you watched the previous videos, you knew about this level. So yeah, this is currently what I'm watching, okay? Previously, before I started recording, we went back down to 69.2, I believe. I'll show you guys on the lower time frames. There you go. So we had the pushback down to around 69.2, and from there we instantly bought back up. So technically speaking, it's not looking terrible for continuation, but continuation up to where is the question here. So be careful, okay? Be careful with this wick. In terms of structure, it's not looking terrible, okay? But still, I'm particularly cautious for this week. And if I miss the bottom because I ended up closing my swing longs too early, it is what it is. It sucks, but I prefer to get out of the way at this moment. Moving on. So the USDT dominance chart. In the previous videos, guys, I gave you this particular projection. I said that this was going to break back down, push to the upside, and then reverse back down, and that you should have started to long, as this was actually confirming this pattern. So technically speaking, this is still a great time to long, okay? Absolutely great time to long, because it's pretty much following my projection to a T, okay? It's perfectly doing what I thought that it was going to do. So here's the thing: why am I not necessarily too convinced? Because look, I was expecting us to see a rejection of this nature. Okay, you see how we had a small wick on the bearish trending channel that I've highlighted in red, and I was expecting to see something like this and then a reversal back down. Instead, we actually pushed a little bit more, which is, technically speaking, it's fine because it's trailing channel. We could definitely stop somewhere inside, and you should account for that. And I should also be accounting for that. We didn't necessarily push. Well, we pushed up, but we didn't necessarily touch a trailing channel right here. Okay, so the good news for the bulls is that right now we are actually forming a little bit of resistance here on the USD dominance chart. Okay, you got resistance on resistance, so this is very good. It's actually what you want to see in preparation for a move to the downside, a significant one for that matter. So that's why you're seeing Bitcoin moving up. Okay, it's just a matter of seeing what happens afterwards, because the risk that we could potentially have here, if this is actually trying to do something else, because the reason I didn't necessarily want this to push this much is because what you also have had is a liquidation of these lows. Okay, you can see that we have liquidated these lows. Then we had a pushback up, but the pushback up has also taken out a decent high on the left. Okay, we have taken this high and this high. What could potentially be the case here is that we are actually making a market structure shift, and now we are inside of the golden ratio. Okay, there could be the scenario here, and that's why I don't necessarily want to give you guys my projection for this week in terms of bias, because I see different opportunities here, and when I feel clouded with what could potentially happen, my projection is not necessarily coming from a clean state of mind, so to speak. If this holds, okay, the risk is that this could definitely push to the upside. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here. There is potential for both things to potentially happen. Okay, if you want to play even more safe, you could consider taking longs as the USDW chart takes out the slow. Okay, that will be a pretty good validation area. Um, so again, I'm acting based on what I'm currently seeing. Okay, again, I could definitely be wrong. This could definitely start to push up significantly. But once we get up into this region, be careful, okay? Be careful. If we get there, that is, okay? So that's kind of what I have for you guys on the USD dominance chart. The total 3 minus Solana BNB. So far it's holding, and if this holds, guys, I'm looking for new all-time highs here, okay? Total 2, so far no breakout, because you have to go and break $980 billion, okay? Your level of support 929 to 920 billion. So you got support down here and your resistance is up here. Moving on, the total chart. So on the total, so far you're actually doing everything as I generally wanted to see. W formation, breakout retest, continuation to the upside seems to be likely. You're looking for pretty much $3 trillion at this moment. Okay. 2.94 as of today. Of course, if the breakout doesn't happen today to this extent, we are looking for higher levels throughout, the next few days. You can see how we are already aiming for $2.99 trillion. From tomorrow, that is definitely going to be 3 trillion. So we definitely have some potential for a breakout here. Okay, the total 2, no breakout just yet. There's still a little bit of resistance here to deal with. You got $980 billion as your very first level of resistance. If you break above, then you got $104 trillion. Okay, this will be the levels to watch out for. Level of support, guys, 883 billion to 811. That is the C19 trend line. Okay, and we are so close to this level in the week of C19. So, that's kind of why I shifted this projection a year and I said, look, there is now a very good chance that instead of the W formation, because we didn't break out here, we could also potentially do an inverse head and shoulder formation, which is still bullish. It's a variant of a double bottom. Okay, so I think that we have to wait and see what happens here. Bitcoin is looking pretty strong. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, if I had my long, this would be paying up pretty nice at this moment. Um, 2 to 3. 702 to 693 billion. That is your level of support. Level of resistance is 756. You can see how we are overall respecting the projection very nicely. But then again, we didn't break out just yet. Okay, so if Bitcoin were to find resistance here, it's very likely that 2 to 3 may potentially see another rollback down. But if we don't, then it's likely going to see a breakout above $756 billion. So again, it's not looking too terrible, but it's just the timing of it that makes me, want to step on the sidelines at this moment. So the orders chart is in a bearish trending channel. I think that if any sort of bull trap should happen, it's going to happen from potentially $178 billion. That's kind of your level today. Based on this trend right here, you are above one of the previous trend lines. So you could also see a rejection from here, but so far we are above, so it's likely that it's going to be pushing to the upside before we see any of that, if it has to happen. Okay, so Bitcoin. So what I'm seeing here is the potential for a recovery back up to around 73.7 to 74.4. It is a possibility because we have left a very significant wick, and if the market were to push back down and make a new low, there is a possibility here that we first take out this high, people get bullish, increase the longs, and then they get stopped out. There is definitely the possibility. I will definitely start to shift focus if we start to do something like this. Not the best pattern, to be honest. This looks like a W formation that is still missing the right leg, to be honest, on the weekly. So you could also get into something like this, to be honest, like a W formation of some sort. You could also see an inverse head and shoulder, for example, where you push back down around 55, you then have a quick recovery, you push to the downside. Before you know it, you have created an inverse head and shoulder. That is quite bullish. Okay. So again, I have a little bit of doubts, okay, on how the structure is going to play. On the daily, it's not terrible. On the daily, it's not, but on the weekly, it kind of looks like we still have some structure to form. The same goes for Solana. Solana is going sideways. It's breaking up slowly but surely. It's not looking that bad. But on the weekly, guys, there is some structure that is missing. So any push to the upside is to be considered temporary. And if you are in premium, which you guys can find the Discord link right here or in the description. Yesterday I made an update where I said, I still said all of the stuff that I'm seeing right here, at least on these charts, okay. But I also said that in the short term, I see bullishness, and that in the short term, we should be looking up. Okay, so far today we have gotten that. It's a question of, okay, but to which extent? So again, Bitcoin, I kind of gave you guys already the breakdown on that. The Bitcoin dominance, I wanted us to go and hit this trend line, and I think that this week it could definitely be a time where we end up doing it. Hit this trend line and find resistance either on this trend line or slightly above. Doesn't really matter. But I think that this is kind of what we need before we see the reversal back down that is going to be favoring the altcoins. Moving on, I'll show you guys Ethereum. Honestly, no breakout whatsoever just yet. Nothing is really happening on Ethereum at this moment. We have to drive back up to around 2,200 or so. Let me check. 2,197. So what I'm seeing here is the following. Okay, yeah, 2,200. So what I'm seeing here is this: the push to the upside will be justified, because in terms of trend lines, I see this being a potential scenario where you got two touches on the trend line, push back up, bull trap 2,248 or so, according to today's candle, of course. Push back down, hit the C19 trend line, as you guys can see, that is currently pointing at 1,624. You get that into that region, and from there onwards, we could even target a new all-time high. So it's a matter of timing, I guess. It's more of understanding where we are in the charts, and I feel like if something has to happen, it's going to happen very soon. The question is, do we push up a little bit more before we see that or not? So that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Last but not least, the total 3 minus Solana, BNB, XRP, USDT, and USDC. This custom chart right here. No breakout just yet. Okay, we could definitely see a breakout. In terms of structure, it's not looking the best, to be honest. I mean, yeah, you got something that does look like a W formation, to be honest, but and I hope you guys are able to see it now. You got your W formation, first leg and second leg. You gotta target the side though. That will create a market structure shift. Okay, you take out the side, and that is a market structure shift. So if you push up, there's a good chance, however, that unless you break above 200 and let me fix it and align it with today, 255 to 260 billion, unless you see that happening, what we could potentially see is a range formation, whereas you guys can see how well we have respected the equilibrium zone of this range. That is stuff that validates the range, in my opinion. We could see the push to the upside, reversal back down, instantly bought back up, and from there onwards we actually start to break above. So the question is the bottom in or is the bottom not in? I think that we're about to find out very, very soon. Just be careful, okay? If you see any significant push to the upside, there is a time to long and a time to be careful. Technically speaking, if you guys are following the previous analysis, it should be long. To be honest, it should be long. But understand what I'm looking for in this particular week. I think that we have quite the events. Tomorrow is C19 anniversary. The day after tomorrow is the day where, historically speaking, Bitcoin has had a significant market crash before. Based on the structure, it could also be the inverse play, and we may actually see a significant pump. Okay, I'm not trying to say that couldn't necessarily be the case, but is the bottom in? I made a public statement on my Involio, on my X account, and in the premium account, in the premium Discord, and I've said that the bottom was going to be formed by February 17th, and so far that has been the case. I've actually bottomed on February 6th, go on Bitcoin, and we bottomed on what February 7th, I think. No, the 6th. Okay, so far my prediction has actually became true. And so far, we are holding very nicely. But the thing that you got to pay attention to, guys, is the following. So, understand what we currently are doing here. You guys are seeing a slow climb back up. Okay. Here, for example, what did you see? Slow climb back up. What happened afterward? push to the downside. What could potentially happen here? Another push to the downside. The market has done this pattern quite a few times here. Another bull flag right here, push to the downside. Bull flag right here, push to the downside. Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? And the same goes in the opposite direction, you know. Bull flag, push to the upside. Bull flag, push to the upside. Bull flag, push to the upside. This market has pretty much only done this particular pattern for most of the time. Even here, guys, look. What do you call this? This is a bull flag, right? This is the pattern that they teach you at the very beginning of when you're trying to learn technical analysis, right? Bull flag, right? You guys get what I mean here. And the thing here is that, you know, we're doing it, potentially we are doing it one more time. So we have to see something different, okay? If you want to deviate from this trend of, you know, bear flag and so on, you know, we have to see something else. What we may have to see is this, where, you know, make a bigger W formation, and from there we actually end up holding. Or we may have to do something like this. First leg, head, right shoulder, push back up. Okay, but they all these projections either have a new low, or what they have is another corrective move awaiting for us. Okay, which is going to be this leg right here. So be careful you're chasing, because structure wise, it doesn't necessarily say that it's ready. The bottom may be in, okay, but from a weekly perspective, guys, the structure doesn't really convince me. I mean, what is this? Okay, the only way that this could be bullish right now, guys, is if we have this sort of a formation, which again I don't want to neglect. It's definitely a possibility. Do you guys believe that we are already making the head of an inverted shoulder, and that this is the bottom? I mean, could definitely be the case. Okay, I'm not trying to say that this cannot happen. Could definitely be the case. I could see a scenario where the market does something like this. But when you take into consideration that, you know, we're not going to be seeing any rate cuts in March, there's still a lot of tensions. Inflation is likely going to increase. You know, I gotta take a step back and let the market do its thing. Okay, from a spot standpoint, I don't really care what it does right now. I generally do not. And if it goes lower, I keep on buying, honestly. So this is the video, guys. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Do you guys believe that the bottom is in? Do you guys think that we have to go lower? Let me know. I'm very interested in knowing what you guys have to say. But with that being said, I'll see you guys later. Peace.